Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Fitzpatrick. It's the 21st of July. It's Monday and time for my weekly video log. I'm going to explain to you how we sell puts, buy high quality, great value stocks with low buying power usage and income creating potential. So let's get rolling. And as usual, we'll look at the market, we'll do the stock picks and see what's happening around the clubs and the trading methodology. So here are two screenshots. One is a week on Friday, the 11th, and one is Friday just of last week, close of play. And we can see that the market is still up there. The trend has slightly flattened, but it is still upwards. Even though it was expiration week, and we normally get a bit of a dip, it didn't come. We're getting good news, economic news from the States still, and that's keeping things up there. So next, this week's picks. And there have been some changes. I've now got 23 filters. I've brought to the party another research company, Morningstar, and I've done so because Morningstar concentrate on a couple of big things that I wanted to introduce. One is a fair price. So they work out, and I'm quite happy with the calculations I've seen, what a fair price for stock is. And then we'll look at where the current price is compared to that. If it's above it, I'm not so happy. If it's below it, I'm much happier. The other thing that they'll look at is competitive advantage. And for a company to sustain good profits and to keep ahead of the competition, it needs competitive advantage. So they measure that too, and I brought that into the mix as well. So for the moment, these are new, and I'm not therefore making them red flag issues, but I'm watching them carefully and will make a decision on that in due course. The other thing I've been doing is I've now put in what I'm monitoring for existing stocks. So stocks that we're already in, not necessarily owning the stock, we might just be in the trade. And here is what I'm doing to keep an eye on them. I'm identifying exit points at significant points of resistance where I expect to be coming out of the stock. I then sell stocks with that price that's above fair value. So if the price is getting well above fair value, it might be time to exit. Thirdly, where in the past we've paid too much for stocks, and there are plenty of them under the whole system, I'm saying, let's get out of town. Let's get out. Fourthly, where the fundamentals of the company have deteriorated, I'm also saying that's a good reason to get out of town. And what I'm saying here is, even if I'm going to take a loss, if the circumstances are right to get out, we get out. I also apply that when the price is higher than the intrinsic value of the stock. So when the stock's no longer good, it is time to leave. The money is simply better used elsewhere on better trades. By the way, I'm not showing them all here, but I'm now up to 71 changes that I've made to the trading system since the 1st of July a year ago. So I thought this would be an interesting exercise. I've put down here the parameters that I'm using to judge stocks, to judge trades. Those with the red dots, they are red flag issues. And then across the top, I've put in the sources, the places where I get this information from. Excel, Value Line, Morningstar, Zacks, Better Investing, the trading platform, and Earnings Whispers, which I only use for getting earnings dates. So I'm looking to see that where I've got uniqueness and where I can perhaps even edge out one of these things if I don't need to use them anymore. But that's where we're at. Now, I know that looks complicated, but to be honest, the whole process of picking the stocks, including all of these, takes me about 2 or 3 hours max. Here is the process I go through. First of all, I generate a long list, could be 200 stocks easily on that. I check out the fundamentals. Then I'm checking out what the analysts think. Then I'm looking at the fair value and competitive advantage figures. And then I test the results on the trading platform to see what I can get in terms of premiums and what that's going to cost me in terms of stock buying power. So hopefully I'm beginning to break down what I do and to systematize it and show it in a way that people can actually get to grips with more easily. So after all that, this week's picks, here they are. So I've got Qualcomm and Qualsys. They are a semiconductor company and a software company. I've got quite high strike prices, unfortunately, for the smaller accounts, but nonetheless, these are the ones that came out. I'm now using the September normal third Friday expiry date, so 19th of September. These are the premiums I'm getting, $8.40, $7.20. They're important, but what's actually more important to me is the annualized return on investment. And that is comparing the premium to the amount of stock buying power that the trade uses. And my measure on that is I want to be at least 100%. And as you can say, I am on both of them, although Qualsys is a bit close to the mark. Now, the premiums, I'm using the lower estimate that I get from the trading platform over the weekend. So it's highly likely that I will get somewhere in between this price and the higher price shown on screen at the top of the range. So the 102 will be fine, I'm sure. So QCOM, no adverse comment. It went through all of the parameters, no problem whatsoever. QLYS didn't have quite the headroom I'm looking for. It's about 15% below its annual high, its 52-week high, but I'm prepared to go with it. Okay, just to remind you, everything needs checking at the time of trading. These were fine over the weekend when a lot of stock prices are parked, and really it's just to educate you into how I'm doing things. At the time of actual trading, if I take these trades later today, I will be checking everything, and I urge you to do the same. Satisfy yourself with your own due diligence that this is a good trade for any trade before you take it. And what's happening around the clubs? Well, I've just mentioned the fact that we're taking on board Morningstar. But let's have a look at this. So these are all of the puts that the extraordinary investment clubs, the ones I look after, were involved with that expired, in most cases, on Friday gone. I can see one there that doesn't actually expire until next Friday, but there's just that one. So what have we got? Diamond. Diamond made 8,000, call it 8,800. So not bad. And they had Birkinshaw, that it dipped right at the last moment and ended up getting put to us. But nonetheless, we're only $1.80 down here. And I could, quite frankly, I can get that just by selling a call, but we'll wait and see what happens with it. Tees, a very small club compared to the others, but nonetheless, it made over $2,500. It also got hit by Birkins Shaw, and again, I'll need to do something with that. It was $2 out. I may well sell the stock and replace it with a new put. I'll have to look at the parameters. Sapphire, a good month at 25,000. So as well as being hit by Birk, B-I-R-K, it also had stock put from BMRN. Again, it slipped. Look at that. The strike price was 57.50 and the price ended up at 57.29. The brokers dipped that price. Nonetheless, look at the profit highlighted in pink. We have made over $5,000 on that trade, even if I sell them at that strike price today, or at the current price that was shown on Friday today, but do nothing else with it, we've made 5,000. Similarly with JetBlue, that dipped down from 450 that we needed to 441, but we still come out with 1,000, almost $600 of profit. So Sapphire advanced $25,000 just on the puts that expired last Friday. The largest club, 100th Millionaire, they did 46,000. Again, BIRK and BMRN were the culprits. Nonetheless, I could sort out BIRK and BMRN was well in profit. Fortune, much less activity going on, smaller account again, but nonetheless 4,000 of gain in the month. And the Extra Income Club, which I've got to say is doing very, very well. Again, a smaller club, about $350,000 worth of net liquid value, and it came through with $15,500 of gain in the month. So a good month, a good outcome. Helped, I think, in April by the Trump slump. That gave us a chance to sell puts at very nice strike prices in the July expiration dates and to make lots of money. So, yeah, we're doing okay. Now, at least for me, exciting news. This is a screenshot of a bit of software that I'm using to write my next book. So my first book, The Extraordinary Trading Club, was very much about the TICN system and how it's designed to work and how it works and about the clubs and so on. I've now made that many changes, serious changes to the trading system, that I've decided it's time to write another book describing the way that I'm now trading and doing so well with. These are like post-it notes, but on screen, and I can move them around. I can change the chapter headings. I can change everything. And for each little box, when I've done some work on it, I'm seeing the number of words I've written and where I'm at, whether the thing's ready for reviewing or whether it's still in progress and so on. An excellent system. And I've got to say, the screenshot, I could only fit probably half of these little post-it notes on here. So there's a lot more going on. I'm now about a third of the way into the first draft. I expect it to be coming out probably in October or something like that. So that's going on. So the live training system that I did on the last few months is now finished, but you can still do it. You can still see all of the recorded sessions, and I do update it. You can download the templates I use and so on if you do the course. You can join it at myinvestmentclub.co.uk. And as I say, it's all recorded. It's all on there for you to see and use. And you can go back as many times as you wish. The course covers everything I do, and it's a very low entry cost, £250. To be honest, you should make that back in a single trade, and you can access it at myinvestmentclub.co.uk. Now, if you're not already a member of my Facebook group, please join. It's called The Extraordinary Stock Trading System. And if you're not already a member of one of the clubs, have a look at myinvestmentclub.co.uk. You can find out a lot more about us there. You can see the results, how we're doing. You can find out how we trade. And if you get in touch with me, I can put you into the WhatsApp group. I can put you in touch with the members. There are about 350 of them. You can lasso a few out to talk to directly as much as you wish. Got no problem with any question, and I do not, monitor that. You can ask your questions privately. So I think that's about it for this week. Just to say that I'm now off to the sun for a couple of weeks. There won't be a video, I don't think, unless things go terribly wrong with my holiday next week. So see you soon.